What's up, guys? Welcome back. Happy Monday. Dr. Jaws here, and tonight we are going to be meeting the Yellowspotted Catshark, Scyliorhinus capensis. This is a really beautiful species with a really cool color pattern that's not very common in the shark world. We've mentioned this before with a couple different sharks, but yellow is a very uncommon color as far as sharks go. There's a striped smoothhound, which has like the yellow stripes, and this cat shark that has yellow spots. Hey Howard, welcome back. Welcome back. Good evening to you too. Hope you've had a good weekend. Very excited to talk about this species and just this beautiful color palette, the yellow-spotted cat shark. So I'm really excited to dive in. Cat sharks are really fun because there's so many of them. There's hundreds of them. Well, I guess not hundreds. Dozens. It's over 100 species as far as like the entire cat shark group, and they range from shallow water to deep water. This one is more of a shallow water species, so I'm really excited to see kind of how its spots and its coloration maybe helps camouflage in its specific environment in southern Africa. So I'm really excited to see more about that. But this is actually an image of it. Hey, Bibia, welcome back. Yes, actually, great question. So, hope. How did everything go just with the house, Howard? If you don't mind, I mean, we're putting you on the spot, but I hope it went well. Just fingers crossed. And Bibi, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope the weather is really cool over there. Right now, it's actually really nice. Like May in Virginia is like really. I would say like May is one of the best months for Virginia, so it's just like very pretty, very green, very just not too hot yet. Like I feel like May is like the green month, June is like the sunny month, July is when it's like really ridiculously hot. So, but yeah, but I hope things are fine over in Netherlands, so and Canada as well for Howard. So awesome. So for this species, I think what we'll do is we'll kind of start to look at footage of cat shark cousins, and then go back to this species specifically, the yellow-spotted cat shark, just to kind of get an idea of how they move. You can see some of the common features of cat sharks. So you have kind of like not bulbous, but like kind of like large head with the ridges over the eyes. A lot of flexibility. Cat sharks are very elongate sharks that are almost kind of like serpentine in their movement, so they get to crawl through different crevices or kind of lay lackadaisically on the bottom, kind of like a cat. As far as like I really hope that's the origin of their name, is just the fact that behaviorally they have a lot of cat-like characteristics as far as just kind of like laying around, kind of like slinked along the seabed, almost reminiscent of like house cats. This species in particular, you see this beautiful color palette of the or color pattern of the yellow spots, which pretty conspicuously cover the body. You have these nice dark saddles in between, and then these light brown saddles or light brown blotches on the back. You have these really cute rounded pectoral fins and pelvic fins, and then dorsal fins are set very far back on the body, and the caudal fin is out of frame a little. Well, oh, actually no, you can see the caudal fin a little bit. So, caudal fin. I can't tell if that's a caudal fin or the anal fin. So far back on the body. Some cat shark species, depending on the species, the anal fin is actually so close to the caudal fin that it almost looks like this one fin. So that might be what's going on for this species. But what's interesting is that fin placement sometimes could be an indicator of shark behavior. So if the fins are more center on the body, if they're larger, that indicates that it's probably a fast swimmer. If they're more far back on the body, and if the body form is longer, it indicates that's probably a bottom dwelling shark, and that's what cat sharks are. So it's really cool to see that you have the pectoral fins and the pelvic fins in the first maybe like say 2/3. Actually, even this tail is really long, so maybe first half of the body is really devoted to pectoral fins and pelvic fins, and the second half, or at least second third, or third, is the two dorsal fins, which compared to other sharks, it's a very elongated shape. So It's really cool to see. So, Howard's still airing out the cabinets. Oh, baby, thank you for the stream. Had a great week. Lots of cat shark species. Any idea why? Oh, great question. Any idea why? Together with dog sharks. So cat sharks make sense to me as far as why they radiated out so much, and it's really more so. Um, let's see. Hopefully no hidden damage from water. What wood can be annoying? Oh, yeah, yeah, 100% agree. So I hope it all is dried out as soon as possible as well. So just yeah, sorry, I'm just reading all the comments out loud. So, but to your question, Bibia, for cat sharks, the reason they speciated makes a lot of sense to me. The reason why they're so diverse makes a lot of sense to me because of the habitat that they occupy, where we know that cat sharks are in shallow water habitats around the world. They're also in deep water habitats around the world. And in the areas where they live in shallow water, a lot of them are coral reef areas, or any kind of like rocky seabed reef area. It's really interesting to think about, like South Africa has quite a few different kinds of cat shark species, like where the water is kind of, the visibility can be pretty okay depending on like where you are. Sometimes really decent, sometimes pretty good. There are some beautiful kelp forest in that area, and even though it's not a tropical environment because it's temperate, and there's no, like, not a coral reef per se, you still have like rocky reef like environments that vary from region to region in South Africa. So with that, like, just as each reef is different, there's a different niche or a different set of camouflage. Like if you go to a different environment where the seaweed is different, the algae is different, the barnacles are different, the like these little details that make up the seafloor are different. It probably benefits, or it probably helps selects a different species. Like say you had a coral reef that had a lot of blue features, a cat shark would evolve to be more blue. If you had a coral reef that had a lot of red features, a cat shark would evolve to be more red, and so on and so forth. So multiply that by all the different kinds of environments you have around the world. It makes sense to me that there's a lot of different shallow water cat sharks. For deep water cat sharks, that's a little trickier to answer. It's a great question, and this is where I kind of have trouble with the dogfish too, because the dogfish are also mostly deep dwelling. Like cat sharks are like split between shallow water and deep water. Dogfish are more so deep water. The famous like pike dogfish is an anomaly in the sense that it likes to enter in shallow water sometimes, but the others they like to be in deep water. And I'm really not sure why they radiated as much as they did and why they speciated as much as they did. The things that they have in common are they're all fairly small to mid-sized. So that could be a reason, because when you get to larger and larger sharks, there's not a heck of a lot of there's not as much radiation, like as far as like, and when I say radiation I mean species radiation, like as like species diversity. There really isn't that much, because like when you think about it, even before human impact, there was only one carcharodon, so one white shark. There was only two mako sharks. There's only one tiger shark. There's really not a lot of like large predatory sharks, and maybe being an apex predator, like a globally distributed apex predator, there's not a lot of open niches available. Whereas if you're a smaller shark, around the world, even in deep water, maybe there's a much more of a variety of open niches available because it's a smaller animal, and that might be how the dogfish evolved. So that's a great question, and I would love to hear any other thoughts in the chat, like hypotheses in terms of like why the dogfish are very diverse and cat sharks are very diverse. And again, just to reemphasize, cat sharks make a lot of sense to me because they occupy a diversity of shallow water habitats, and they can be so different from different parts of the world. But the deep water ones and the dogfish, I'm not exactly sure why they diversified as much as they did. So it's an excellent question. Maybe when we kind of go through some of the literature, we'll be able to identify that more. So, or kind of find some clues. So this is a cool clip of, I think this is Scyliorhinus canicula, and I believe this is the small spotted cat shark. So great little comparison, just to see how they. It's very cute. Just to see how they. Oops. Whoop. Sorry. I have the Firewatch music on in the background, so just to kind of chill out. But got a little ad, so I'm gonna mute that. But it's really cute to see how these sharks like to, kind of lay on the seafloor. Usually cat sharks tend to be nocturnal, so during the daytime they kind of conserve their energy, and then at night they become more active. It can vary from species to species, but typically they're a bit more of a nocturnal animal. This particular species is very cute, but also kind of cracking me up. He's doing something that his cousins do a little bit. So see how he's like curling his tail in this shot right here? There's a group of cat sharks called the shy sharks, which actually can do this to such a degree that they'll actually curl their tail to cover their eyes. So, and it's a defense mechanism. So if they feel like that something is after them, they will actually kind of curl around and use their caudal fin to shield their eyes to create this kind of more uniform looking pattern to better blend into the seafloor and be like not like a shark shape or a fish shape, but just kind of like this little donut that might confuse a predator. So it's a really cool and adorable adaptation that they have. So this particular cat shark is kind of cracking me up because he's curling his tail. Like even though his tail is nowhere near his head, the behavior reminds me of his cousins, the shy sharks, which are kind of cat shark. So, shy sharks are also, I believe, all or most of them live in South Africa as well. So, which is pretty interesting to think about. So you can obviously see that this species of shark is buccal pumping, so just pumping water over its gills. He does not need to move in order to breathe. He could just sit comfortably on the seafloor. And actually beautiful irises on the eyes too. So let me go back there. Gorgeous, gorgeous eyes. Actually, I'm going to freeze that so everybody can get a good look. Really pretty, like these like almost like violet eyes, really, like on the irises. Is a really, really pretty animal. There we go. Gorgeous eyes. Reminds me of a fun fact. So white sharks, Carcharodon carcharias, they actually have blue irises around their. And actually, I forgot that this was a thing. So white sharks have blue irises around their eyes. Their eyes are very dark, so it's hard to see them. And also, white sharks are very scary for most people, so most people don't want to go up to them very closely. But they actually have blue irises around their eyes. Bull sharks actually also have blue, like tiny blue spots in between their dermal denticles. So a bull shark's skin actually does have these really beautiful blue, like I shouldn't even call them spots. They're kind of like pores, if you will. They're very, very small, but they may lend to how that shark, and maybe other carcharids have this, but it may lend to how that shark has an iridescent appearance. So, but yeah, so we'll take a look at some other cat shark clips, but this is a great example of how these sharks are lackadaisical. They like to lay on the seafloor and chill out for most of the day. This is actually a really cool clip of, and this is a channel called Photo Arc, so I'm gonna subscribe to this. But this is actually a really cool clip of cat sharks and how they are egg-laying sharks, and how these eggs actually, like the sharks will actually hatch out their eggs, and be born as like a fully developed shark. That and that's something that's actually really cool about sharks in general, where they're not like birds or insects where they have like a juvenile stage or like a helpless well, I shouldn't say helpless, but like sharks don't need parental care. Like they are born ready to go. So it's actually really cool. No matter if a shark is born live or born from an egg, it's immediately ready to hunt the minute it's born. So it has everything it needs. There's no parental investment. And it's actually kind of interesting to compare, even with some fish, like bony fish. Bony fish, depending on the species, can actually offer quite a lot of parental investment. Some bony fish parents will actually guard the fry, like guard like the little fish, for at least like a couple weeks. It depends on the species. Most of them, I would say, spawn and that's it. So the little planktonic fish are left to fend for themselves. But some bony fish are actually, kind of watchful parents. Sharks are not. So it's actually, this is just a really cool clip. I know it's like really short, but it's a really cool clip kind of seeing what young cat sharks look like, and then you can actually see the embryo of a cat shark kind of through this like semi-translucent egg case. You can see the yolk right here, which during development the shark will absorb all of the yolk and then hatch out of the egg. Cat shark egg cases are really cool in the sense that they are uniquely fit for their specific environment. So this egg case has these like little tendrils here that are meant to catch on to kelp or seaweed. So the tendrils help. Actually, all shark eggs, they're shaped uniquely based on the environment. So egg cases with tendrils help, snag onto things, snag onto seaweed. It usually indicates that the habitat is very has some kind of algae or things to kind of grasp onto. Horn shark or bullhead shark egg cases, they're corkscrew shaped, so they're shaped like that so that the shark parent can wedge the eggs into crevices, and the eggs are hard to dislodge from there, so that the shark is safely tucked away into the seabed. So, yeah, really cool clip of just cat shark eggs. Our cat shark, the yellow-spotted catshark, also is an egg layer, or oviparous species. So I'm gonna catch up on the comments. Well, shy sharks a bit afraid. Yes. So Bibia, shy sharks like a bit afraid to show themselves. Yes. So it's like they cover their tails just like this. So they're really cute. Actually, let me see if I can find a picture of one shy shark, just so you can see what it is. Okay, so we got the right species. Just want to see if we can get that. This might work. It's a little blurry, but this is basically what they do. So this is a shy shark curling his tail over his face to hide it. So and this diver found one is kind of you shouldn't be touching sharks, but it's kind of like holding it up for the camera. So they're very, very cute. Let's see if we can find. This is another one. It's actually they're adorable because they're camera shy. But see, this is exactly what they do. So this shy shark is tucking his whole face into his tail because he doesn't want to be seen. So it is like a camouflage tactic. It's a defense mechanism. But it's really cute. It's like it's like a little toddler hiding behind their parent's leg because they don't want to be seen. So the shy sharks are similar, where they're like, you can't see me, like they tuck their heads into their tail, just to kind of hide. And it's cool because again, I think the idea from an evolutionary perspective is that by doing this, you create this weird donut shape that might confuse predators, where they think, I don't know if that's a shark, I don't know if that's a prey item, I'm just going to move on. So that could be it, but yeah, it's just a really cool group of sharks that has this unique behavior. So let's see. Eyes still closed when they open. The young hatchlings are, of course, size of adult. It takes a year to incubate the eggs of the. Oh, cool! I didn't know, but I didn't know they were born blind. I don't think they're born blind. I think I agree with Howard. I think the eyes are open. Yes, because again, all sharks when they're born, they're fully formed hunters, so they don't need parental investment, and so they should have. I'm just kind of going through the species in my head. Like, I can't think of one that actually would have a phase where, they all of them are all of them would be born hunters. So they yeah, I agree, Vivian. The shy sharks are adorable. But yeah, all of them would be born hunters, so they would definitely need their eyes. I don't think there's a phase where they can't see. I know there's like some. I forget what it is, like actual cats, like actual kittens, have their eyes closed for a while. But sharks or cat sharks, they are born eyes open. Even though there is actually a really interesting point, or not point, but like connection though. Cat sharks, like all carboraniforms, do have to membrane. They have the ability to protect their eyes. So it's almost kind of like an eyelid. But even so, they're born full sight. So this is actually kind of cool. Clip of the deep-water Catshark. So this might be yes, this is the chain Catshark. This one's actually off where I live in Virginia. But the species is actually really popular off the east coast of the United States. I think they live in Canada as well. But it's really cool to see that they just lay down on the seafloor with this beautiful chain-like pattern on their backs. So like pale, creamy white body with like these really cool, intricate black markings. You can actually see the tail of one in this little crevice down here. There's actually a lot going on here. We see some spider crabs. We've got some abalone. This is actually, for a deep water environment, this is actually pretty species rich. I see like a little, it almost looks like some kind of like toadfish back there. It's almost certainly not, but it's really cool. It's cool to see Catsharks just like laying down. There we go. Nice close up of two Catsharks just kind of like chilling out. It's kind of amazing to think about that. There's certain like deep water animals that no matter what's going on in the world, they're just there, in the deepest, darkest, highest pressure depths. They're just existing. They can't see, their environment around them unless they, maybe migrate vertically in the water column. But it's really cool. It's a little like unnerving almost, but really, really cool. We've got one more. Nope, non-ad. Hate the ads. One more clip to check out, and then we'll dive more into the yellow-spotted catshark. So, which catshark is this? So the one that we just saw was Scyliorhinus radifer, the chain catshark. So I'll make a comment. Chain catshark. Scyliorhinus radifer. Oh, thank you, Howard. Yep, chain catshark. So, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, chain catshark. So, and what's kind of funny is like sometimes in aquariums they're called chain dogfish. Which is a misnomer. I hate it when people, or not, I don't hate it, but it's just like, it gets confusing when, people confuse cat sharks with dogfish. So, and they're not the same. So, this is a really cool shallow water environment. So last little clip to take a look at today is of a small spotted catshark. Really cool dive footage too, by the way. Beautiful temperate water environment, so a lot of great algae, a lot of great places to hide if you're a catshark. And let's see if one comes into the frame. And there we go. So there's a small spotted catshark hiding gracefully in the seaweed and the algae. So it's really cool. This species, so it's the same species we saw in the first clip. It's kind of cool to see this individual seemingly has like darker irises on his eyes, but great footage. Again, doing like the catshark in the first clip, buccal pumping. Great shot of how this animal moves when it's fully swimming. So just like kind of almost like a snake-like serpentine movement, very graceful. gliding through the water column, no effort at all as he is cruising. It's actually cool to envision like the dermal denticles on the shark cutting through that water, allowing it to just slide through. So it's super cool to see that in action. The two dorsal fins are equal size. The pelvic and the anal fins are also equal size. Pectoral fins are fairly large. Pretty interesting to see that this shark is actually leaving the algae to swim in the sand flats. So might be hunting, might be trying to avoid the diver filming. I should say her, sorry. So might be filming her because I don't see any clasp here, so this is probably a female. Really cool color pattern on this individual. Fine speckling on the back and then larger blotches on the sides, and she's taking a rest right at the on that rock. So really cool. Like, look how close this diver is getting to this shark, and I think my head is blocking it, but very calm. The shark is not swimming it away. It's actually really cool. There's a lot of marine life that does feel very comfortable with divers or swimmers, where it's not the same as like terrestrial animals. Like a lot of marine animals can feel comfortable in that setting. I remember one time I was snorkeling in Kipta in Virginia, and there was like a little drum that just was not bothered that I was there, and I actually I should not have done this, but I did give it like a little pet, and the drum was perfectly fine. He kind of swam up to me, took a look at me and then swam away. So, it's really amazing that it's just a completely different environment than the terrestrial world, where a lot of animals actually are comfortable with your presence and allow you to approach them. So, sometimes, I think most often when I go out in the ocean, animals are like slightly wary of me and calmly just kind of make swim away or scuttle away. Pufferfish are always brave. They're always really curious or just unbothered, and I find that really funny. I don't know what it is about pufferfish that make them comfortable, but I've always had fun interactions with pufferfish where they'll swim up. They might be seeing their reflections in my goggles. That might be it, actually. But anyway, sorry. There's a lot of marine life that's actually just really comfortable with you approaching them, and this cat shark is really kind of proving that. Let's see if I can. Can I zoom out to show this? Okay, there we go. You can kind of see the diver is right next to the cat shark in the far left. The diver just has the camera rig right there, and the cat shark is just not bothered by that. So it's really, really cool wildlife encounter. And it's special too, because it's sad that a lot of animals rightfully are afraid of us, but it's really cool that in the marine world, there's quite a few opportunities left where you can actually have a comfortable experience with a wild animal. So, oh hey Howard, good point. See the spiracle just behind the eye. Yes, and that's really interesting too, how close the placement is. So I'm not sure what that would what the adaptation is for that. So let me close that. There we go. But that's a really great observation. Let me go back so we can take a look at that. So spherical right behind the eye. So it probably, my guess, it relates probably to the shark's diet, and maybe if the shark is a bottom feeder, as far as just kind of snapping up mollusks or crabs. I'm assuming that's its diet because the shark spends a lot of time in a benthic environment. Maybe it's kind of inadvertently getting a lot of mud or sediment, and it could be that the spiracles help the shark breathe, potentially. So that might be one reason why they're so close to the head, but not 100% sure. But great observation as far as the placement. So, all right. So I think with that we can go ahead and dive into the yellow-spotted catshark and take a look at what makes this species unique. So this is a gorgeous photograph of a yellow-spotted catshark, and it's fun to see this one is in life. So it looks almost like reptilian. This is such a cool animal. These beautiful yellow spots, gorgeous blue irises here with these actually like nice like these like really pretty amber eyes. And you can actually see this fine white detailing. These must be like the dermal denticles, like probably catching some kind of light, or just maybe the raised texture of the dermal denticles. But it's really cool to see. So, and it could be other things, like maybe sand that's just kind of catching on the dermal denticles. Because now I'm actually seeing. Let's go into detail because this is a very nice high resolution image. I can see the dermal denticles here, these little fine points. So maybe these white specks are actually just kind of like sand that is kind of catching on the shark's head. But likewise, the spiracles are very close to the eye, like Howard observed for the other cat shark. And what a view! Like what an incredible photograph of the eye. So beautiful amber eye, complex pupil shape, beautiful blue irises. It's really cool to see like the texture, like the detail, as far as like the ridge of the eye. It's kind of like just everything around the eye is just like really like unique and kind of like intense. And that's something I love about sharks' eyes. Like they're all no matter what species, they're all very intense. And again, this kind of shark can cover its eye with the nictitating membrane, so as it's eating, the membrane can come up and offer some protection. So beautiful yellow spots. So, let's see. Bibia, the eye seems to be damaged. It's a good observation. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it looks healthy, but you could be correct. The yellow really stands out in the close-up. Very nice. Yes, agreed. Howard, do catsharks have nictitating membranes? And the answer is yes, they do. So probably reflection of the diver for the damage. You might be right, Bibia. But yeah, so what's really cool, Howard, is all carchariniform sharks have a nictitating membrane. So the cat sharks are carchariniforms, the hammerheads, the carcharinids, like the bull shark, sandbar shark, the sharp-nosed sharks, the tiger shark, weasel sharks, snaggletooth sharks, smoothhounds, deepwater cat sharks. They're all in the same order, and that order is actually defined by the nictitating membrane. That's like a key feature of carchariniforms, which is really cool. So it's actually really cool to see that cat sharks have it. No matter if it's a shallow water cat shark or deep water cat shark, all of them will have the nictitating membrane. So I think that's what Bibia is. Oh, interesting. I think that's what Bibia is seeing. That's a great point. Let's see. I'm gonna zoom back in. So I wonder if Bibia is seeing this white area. I think this might be the reflection of the diver. It could be pupil damage. I'm not as familiar with the species pupils to know if this is healthy or not healthy. But to me, it could be a reflection just because it's such a high resolution image. It could be damage. For the nictitating membrane, I believe it would be a lot... I think it would be a lot thicker, and it would be more obvious. Because it can look like an eyelid, depending on the species. And let me see if I can illustrate that point. Shark nictitating membrane. Let's see. There we go. So we have a few. That's a great clip right there of a shark with nictitating membrane covering the eye. So it is really kind of like a skin almost. So it'd probably be a little bit more obvious. That's a great photo of it, actually. This one is also a great photo. It's kind of a strange, awkward photo look for these sharks. It's kind of like taking a picture if your eyes closed or if you're blinking. But now this is interesting. This is not it. So it's interesting that if I Google search nictitating membrane, this white shark comes up. A white shark is a lamniform. It is not a carchariniform. What the shark is doing is rolling its eye, and all other sharks do this. It's rolling its eyes into the back of its head to protect the eyeballs. So on default, all sharks roll the eyes in the back of their head to protect the eyeballs. But if you're a carchariniform, you have the nictitating membrane to protect the eyeballs. So just wanted to point that out. This really shouldn't be showing up under a Google search nictitating membrane because white sharks don't have that. So it's just, I think it's a mistake because the shark is actually rolling its eyes into the back of its head, as it should. It's doing it again in this photograph too. And that's its way of protecting the eyeball. But for carchariniforms, their way of doing it is having this membrane to protect it. So, which is a really cool adaptation, actually. Let's see. We'll go back to our Catshark because I want to see if there's any more photographs because that one was gorgeous of the Yellowspotted Catshark. So a couple interesting photos. This is just kind of like of the tail or the trunk in the seaweed. I think this is the original species illustration. So let's see. Membrane nictitate from the sides is clearly different. I guess the reflection of something is rolled the eyes. Both sharks, of the both footage had it. Interesting. So let me go back to. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're seeing this white space. Is it this white cut, if you will? I see. I see what you're saying, Bibia. Let's see. I think. Let me Google Catshark nictitating membrane. Because I'm pretty sure it should be like thick, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's like translucent. I don't know. Because let's take a look at this. Well, of course, this image is really tiny. That's the ridge. You might be onto something, Bibia, because they could be, because like the nictitating membrane is clearly thick in like carcharinids, but you might be right that for cat sharks maybe it's thinner, because I'm not seeing an image with a cat shark with like a thick nictitating membrane. Let's try YouTube. Let's see. Catshark nictitating membrane. It doesn't help that cats. I guess cats. Do cats have a nictitating membrane too? Oh, they do. Okay, interesting. Oh, alligators have this too. That's actually, or crocodiles. That's actually really cool. Catshark embryo, baby catshark. Birds have this. It's kind of interesting. And actually, you know what? I know this is a completely different animal, but you can actually see in this bird, the nictitating membrane is translucent. So you might be onto something, because like sharks have it. The sharks that I am used to have it as like a thick piece of skin, but maybe the cat sharks, maybe it is translucent. So let's go back to the clip. Oh, not an ad. That's annoying. Let's go back to the image. Well, I mean, because it has this like little. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Bibia, but I think you were observing there's this like little like white squiggle or yellow squiggle in the middle. And then I'm just gonna let this stupid ad get out of the way. There we go. So we can get back to the sharks. Skip. Okay. Okay, actually, and this might be a good comparison. So this definitely is the shark's eye in normal life, like this interesting iris, like this weird kind of zooming in, this very strange looking or not iris, pupil. This is normal. Like this is the shark's actual pupil. This weird shape. Cat sharks all have like a strange kind of eye, almost like a stingray's eye. It's very unique looking. So, and let's compare that to the close-up. Actually, that's a good little side view of it too. Yeah, just that's normal. Like this is like their pupil, but this actually in this shot, this looks a bit thicker. When we look at the first shot too, I think there was a shot where it kind of caught me by surprise how like dark the eyes looked, and it could be that maybe the nictitating membrane is on, like maybe the shark is actually has already enacted its nictitating membrane because it's in the presence of the divers, and maybe it kind of feels a little bit threatened, maybe because that looks like kind of like thick and kind of like cloudy, but the same species that we saw earlier had these like really beautiful blue irises on its eyes. So let's see. Right here. And this is the same species. So I don't know, you might be onto something, Bibia. So I can't I think as we learn more about cat sharks tonight, yeah, because that's like really clear. That's like really blue right here. So so it could be that the clip that we saw and then the photo of the yellow-spotted catshark that we saw, it could be that maybe the nictitating membrane is on, that's what we're seeing. Because this almost looks like, I mean, part of this looks like the pupil, but it does look very like cloudy compared to the other sharks or other shots that we've seen. So I don't know. I think you might be onto something. So thank you for pointing it out. So let's see. Clearly different. Somebody focused all the eyes of both sharks, but it's smack in the middle of the eye, so it can't be membrane. Let's see. Well, kind of related to that, let's take a look at cat shark pupils. I don't know. It might. Just to make sure it's not the pupils you might be talking about. Because cat sharks do have very strange looking pupils that can expand and contract. So for example, this is a coral cat shark, and you can see that the pupils are dilated right here. So it has this classic, really interesting shark shape, like shark eye, very intense looking, right? But then this is the same species, coral cat shark, and you can see that the pupils are like very contracted, so very slit-like. So you could actually barely see them in this photograph. So it could be the actual pupils you might be talking about. This is also a coral cat shark right here, and you can see like look how contracted the pupil is. It's just this like little slit right here. So it actually, you know what, Bibia, it could be the pupils. This is also part of what gives cat sharks their name, is that they do have like kind of like cat eyes. This is the same species. All four images we saw were the same species, were all coral cat sharks, but this shark's pupils are more dilated. So it might be the pupil, like the thing in the center of the eye that you're seeing with this like white thing. This could be the pupil contracted. In this image, this could be the pupil contracted as well, and maybe it's not the membrane at all. So, so that I'm not 100% sure. Those are my guesses. So we'll move on because I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to talk about the species conservation and also biology. But yeah, really good catch though on the eyes. As far as like there's a couple different ideas of like what might be going on. Here's a really cool kind of shot in life of the yellow-spotted catshark, tonight's species, and you can see its habitat has kelp, a little bit of algae here, white sandy seabed, but you see like kelp roots and kelp fronds, so it's really cool to confirm that this is a shark that likes to live in kelp forests. So, let's see. This was a fish-based photo, so we'll go back to the fish-based profile and then take a look at the IUCN Red List for conservation. So, I really, I love the pun. That is eye-opening. I'm going to star that, Bibia. That is eye-opening explanation and footage. And yes, camera. That's a great point. Camera often goes with bright lights, so it makes sense to squint. I think that's an excellent point. So that might be what's going on. So awesome. So yellow-spotted catshark, Scyliorhinus capensis. So Scyliorhinus comes from the Greek skylion for dogfish or small shark. Rhinus comes from the Greek for rasp, including to the shark's jagged rasp-like skin. And a capensis, it denotes the Cape of Good Hope, South Africa. So very, very famous location. So it's actually really cool to say this is like the Cape catshark, or the Cape rough dogfish, if you will, if you're translating the Greek literally. But let's see. A common inshore to offshore shark, prefers to feed on small bony fishes and crustaceans, also cephalopods. So what's kind of cool is that could be octopuses or octopi. It also could mean cuttlefish. Both animals are present in South Africa. So, looking at conservation, the yellow-spotted catshark is near threatened. So that's actually not as bad compared to other shark species. Not sure what happened here. What's going on here? There we go. I lost my place. Sorry about that. So here's its range. Namibia in South Africa is the range for the yellow-spotted catshark. So pretty cool to see. These are really famous locations shark-wise. They're most famous for the white sharks and the seals, but they're also famous for pajama sharks, octopuses. Just like really cool kelp forest environment that's home to a lot of different kinds of animals. So it's really cool to see and meet a new species in that environment. So near threatened, we'll take a look at what's going on. The yellow-spotted catshark is a small catshark endemic to southern Africa and southeast Atlantic Ocean, from southern Namibia to eastern Europe, South Africa. Eastern Cape. Oh my gosh, Monday. Eastern Cape, South Africa. It inhabits the continental shelf and upper slopes over soft and rocky substrates at depths of 26 to 695 meters. So as far as catsharks go, that's pretty shallow, although it is most typically found on rocky reefs at 200 to 400 meters depth. So that's kind of more of a classic, Twilight Zone catshark. Little is known of its biology. The species is a bycatch of trawl and line fisheries with a likely low post-release mortality. Trend analysis of research trawl surveys in fish areas of South Africa over 27 years from 1991 to 2017 indicate a population reduction of 58% over the past 3 generation lengths, 75 years, although there is a high level of uncertainty in this estimate. Analysis of additional trawl and lawline surveys in South Africa revealed a reduction in biomass of 44 to 50% from 2000 to 2007, although there were gear changes during that period that reduced the certainty that these estimates reflect a change in actual abundance. Some of the estimated population reduction in both of the surveys is possibly a result of an increase in depth range of the yellow-spotted catshark associated with climate change. Now that is something that's interesting. Let me read that again. Some of the estimated population reduction in both of the surveys is possibly a result of an increase in the depth range of the yellow-spotted catshark associated with climate change that may have moved some of the species distribution away from the fishing grounds. So if that is true, that's actually really scary, because that means that the shallow water environs for this catshark are warming to a degree that it's not really suitable for the animal, so it's retreating to deep water. So it takes a lot, like when you think about like how long it takes for a species to evolve and to be, set in its habitat, it really takes a lot to dislodge it like so severely, and that's actually really freaky. That it's one of the not common cases of a shark perhaps adjusting to climate change. Bull sharks are another case. I know I keep talking about them, but bull sharks on the east coast of the United States are pushing their ranges northward as a result of climate change. The water is getting warmer, and so they're able to kind of go up to other areas more often. And it's interesting that related to that, if the water is getting warmer for this cat shark, the cat shark is not really liking it, and it's going into deeper water to kind of avoid that, because the deeper you go, the more stable the water temperature is. So overall, due to the estimated population reductions along with the uncertainty in the estimates, combined with the potential that some of the estimated reduction could be due to a shift away from fishing grounds, and considering that there's been a reduction in trawl effort in South Africa in recent decades, that's good. So less trawling is good. It is suspected the yellow-spotted catshark has undergone a population reduction of 20 to 29% in the past 3 generations due to actual levels of exploitation, and it is assessed as near threatened, nearly meeting vulnerable. So overall, doing better than other species. Not as good as I hoped or thought, because it's right on the cusp of being vulnerable, and that's it's a really freaky thing. There's a few cases of marine animals changing their ways due to warming water temperature. The most famous ones, of course, are like coral, just really freaking out as water temperature rises. Polar bears not really having a lot of areas to scamper about. Like the ice, if the ice is melting, polar bears don't really have a lot of chances to go hunting and then find a safe piece of ice to just lay on for a bit. Like, they have to keep swimming. The one that is famous in marine biology community, not maybe as famous in pop culture, is the shifting distribution of whales following krill. So krill is getting, there's this phenomenon that's been happening where krill are pushing their ranges closer and closer to the poles, because that's the only environment where their water temperature is more optimal. So it's kind of pulling whales closer and closer to the poles as well. And we're seeing less whale activity in tropical and temperate latitudes because their food source is trying to find that optimal water temperature. So there's a lot of impacts, a lot of changes, and it's really interesting to see these across different species. So the shark is still there at least, but doesn't get to seen as much anymore because they're deeper down. Could be better than if they died. Yes. So I agree, Bibia, that it's good that the species is retreating in the sense that it's escaping human pressure. But the sad thing is it's retreating as a result of human pressure. So it's like this weird, I don't know if you would call that a catch-22, but it is this weird thing where it's like, because of human pressure, it's forcing the animal to retreat, but the retreat is helping it to survive in the face of human pressure. For comparison, smaller kinds of hammerheads, like the small eye bonnethead, do I have that right? Let me double check the hammerhead. The mallethead shark, the small eye, it's a small eye hammerhead, right? Mallethead shark, small eye hammerhead, and scalloped bonnethead. That's the one. The scalloped bonnethead. It's kind of funny because there's a scalloped hammerhead and a scalloped bonnethead. So there's two different sharks. But scalloped bonnethead, small eye hammerhead, and mallethead shark. These are small kinds of hammerhead shark that live in South America and Central America, and they do not have a refuge at depth. They can't go into deep water. It's just not part of their biology. So part of the reason why those 3 species are critically endangered is that, they have nowhere to go and they're facing human pressure, without the ability to escape. What's interesting for this shark, the yellow-spotted catshark, it has the ability to escape. Like, it has the ability to go away from fishing pressure and just, adjust to deeper water. So it's really interesting to see and to kind of compare different behavioral responses between different sharks and see the difference in the conservation impact. So this shark is near threatened, and again, those hammerheads I just mentioned are critically endangered. So we'll take a look at some broad level summary for, I think I only have one for this species, and then we'll kind of dive into actual research. It's a good research night as far as I've got Firewatch ambience in the background. It's so quiet and calm that I don't know if you can even hear it on the stream, but we'll see. And as you might be able to tell, I'm definitely in that nice Monday vibe. It's been really busy weekend. So just I think my body is like kind of like crashing a little bit, but in a good way. Crashing amongst the sharks is good. Just as far as I'm definitely in a chill Monday vibe. So let's see, different species names. What in English is just Yellowspotted Catshark. Spanish is Alitan de Manchas Amarillas. Interesting. And then I will not pronounce French. I've butchered the French language too many times, and I apologize to the French for ruining their beautiful language with me just like just what do you call it? I just slogging through the pronunciation. I really would like to learn French one day, but until then, I will not butcher the pronunciation of this shark. So. Let's see. The species description: a fairly large and slender, bright yellow spotted and gray saddle catshark with small anterior nasal flaps that do not reach mouth. Let's see. Color pattern: numerous small, bright yellow spots about the size of eye pupil or more. 8 or 9 dusky gray saddle marks on back. No dark spots. Biology, oviparous, so egg-laying with a single egg per oviduct at a time. Paired eggs are laid. 31 centimeters upon hatching, feeds on fish, cephalopods, and crustaceans. This is actually a really cool set of teeth. So these are the Yellowspotted Catshark teeth. And it's really cool to see they're small but mighty. Really cool triangular shape. Almost reminds you of like a larger predatory shark, like a mako shark, really. Just on a really tiny scale. But the tooth shape is like this beautiful triangle. Further back, we have these cusplets on the lower jaw. So nice, strong middle cusp with these two side cusplets. Really great shot here of this almost. It's kind of hard to tell. These almost, with the root, these almost look like dermal denticles, but I don't think that's it. It's hard to tell really what these are. Let me see a different view. These look like teeth. These definitely look like teeth because the root shape here, definitely looks correct. But the angle here, these are probably teeth as well, but the angle here are just like, it's a little strange looking. So, and that's actually one amazing thing about these are definitely teeth right here. And this is actually really cool. These are beautiful and pretty ferocious looking 5-point cusps on the teeth here. So all of these must be jaw teeth, but still, it's really cool to think about how sharks have teeth in their mouth and then basically teeth on their bodies in the form of their scales. So these, after looking at the other two images, these are actual like teeth in the jaw, but really wild looking shape. Kind of like flat almost, like kind of curved back. And then these look like these incredible, they almost look like kind of like a video game sword or something. They're just really, really like intense looking teeth. So, oh, thank you, Howard. Yes, so I think they're all teeth. So, oh, cool, Bibi, I just saw your suggestion. For next week, I'd like to suggest a species from the Aprosteris. Yeah, we could definitely do Aprosteris. So love to do that. Let's see. Oh, interesting, Howard. I just saw your comment like a Atodus. So I might have missed that, but for a Atodus, is a comment referencing how a Atodus perished, or a Atodus adjusting some of its I'm really curious specifically. Is it a Atodus going extinct, or a Atodus adjusting some of its habit, or a Atodus kind of getting wiped out with climate change? Because I know with some of the megatooth sharks, it's to do with the whales, how the whales changed their habits, and they became, like as the sharks got bigger and bigger, relying on more whales, and whales became less reliable as a prey item for, let's see, yes, extinct mackerel shark. Yeah, I'm really curious. Expanding on that because it's just like I love prehistoric shark history, so I love to learn more. So, but yeah, we could definitely pick an Apostura species for next week. And actually, before we dive in, we'll do this early since you suggested early. Let's see what we have. I'm just gonna check sharks of the world so that we can dive in to the Yellowspotted Catshark. Oh, gotcha, Howard. The first image. Oh, you're right. The first image had a tortoise-like teeth. You're absolutely right. Especially these two on the far right. Yeah, these kind of like really cool fat teeth with like the little cusplets. Great call. I like that's really cool actually. Really cool comparison because it's fun to see that this is a small shark, but it has a tooth type proportionally that is a lot like the megatooth sharks, and like large otodus teeth. They do look a lot like this. So awesome observation actually. So it's really cool to think about because like it kind of relates. I was mentioning the teeth on the left almost look like a large predatory shark, but the teeth on the right totally look like otodus teeth. So super cool. Okay. There's actually quite a few Aposturus species. Wow, there's a lot of Aposturus species. Did we do the white ghost cat shark, Aposturus epheoides? And if not, we can definitely dive into that. Let's see. I'm gonna check my Dr. Jaws playlist. For carcharodontiforms. If I can found it. Okay, good. So Aposturus catsharks, also known as demon catsharks, or ghost catsharks, are really cool. We did the deep water one, which I think is Aposturus profundorum. We did do the white ghost catshark. We did cover that. Okay. Good thing I checked. Peppered catshark. Antilles catshark. Wow, we've actually done quite a few. Okay. Let's see. There's Aposturus. Oh, actually, you know what would be fun? The Iceland catshark. Aposturus larsoni. That one would be really cool because I think there's actually a lot of information on that species, so we actually might be able to see that in life. So, yeah, let's actually, I'm going to suggest that we do that. So I'm for that one. Awesome. Okay, so let's do that. The Iceland catshark. So, Iceland catshark. Make sure I got this right. Plus, it'll be fun to go to Iceland. So, actually, both above the water and below the water, Iceland is an incredible environment where you have the two continental plates, the North American plate and the Eurasian plate, colliding together. That's why Iceland is there. And you have all the volcanic activity in Iceland. You have the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which surfaces in Iceland and then submerges and continues down the ocean basin. So this is the environment where the Iceland catshark lives. So this is going to be really cool to do for next week. So thank you. That's a great suggestion to do an Aposturus genus. So I think the Iceland catshark would be a fun one. So awesome. So that will be next week's shark. All right. So let's dive into, in no particular order, we'll kind of hop around and, please let me know if you guys have any comments, or anything you want to review for the catsharks. I actually got a really cool comment that I'll read from, this is Head Full of Water 237, who I think is a new subscriber, but they made a really cool comment on one of the older streams that I'd like to read out loud. So comparing more catshark species. So Hi, Dr. Jaws. I'm into Sharkspiracy. I think new Aprosaurus I think they were talking about this one. Aprosaurus ovicorrugatus, the ridge egg cat shark. So another kind of demon cat shark is actually Aprosaurus nakaii, the milk-eye cat shark. So this species, and actually we can take a brief look at what this looks like. So demon cat sharks are really cool. They have a very different look, more elongated, longer nose compared to kind of like the cute snub nose of the shallow water cat sharks. Very long anal fin, almost like, I mean, you can see it stretching between the two dorsal fins, so a very unusual looking shape. But anyway, so this comment from a new member of our community was talking about how these two species are actually the same. First of all, take my observations. I really appreciate this comment, by the way, with a pinch of salt, because I'm just a shark enthusiast. Honestly, I want to point out, this is really cool. Like, knowledge is knowledge. So whether you're actively working with sharks or not, if you love them and have a passion for them, and you're actually like studying them and doing your research and just taking time to learn more about them, you're connected with them, and your thoughts, your observations are just as valid. And I just really respect that a lot. I think it's really special for anybody, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're close to the ocean or not. If you love sharks and are learning more about them, you have a connection with them. And that's very special. And I just wanted to emphasize that. For Headful of Water 237, why I think Aprosaurus nakaii and Aprosaurus ovicorrugatus are the same species. One, the same milky color of the eyes that was previously distinct to the Aprosaurus nakaii species. Two, the same body proportions. This is actually a really cool observation, because this would be referring to meristics, or the specific measurements between, like, they do, it's unbelievable how many they do. They do, like, the distance between the nostrils, the distance between the nostrils and the mouth, the distance between the two dorsal fins, the distance between the eyes and the dorsal fins. It goes on and on and on. It's incredible how many ways you can measure a fish. But if it's the exact same, the reason they do it is because species have subtle differences. But if it's the exact same, then possible that's the same species. Same coloration. The coloration of nakaii, one picture looks different than ovicorrugatus because of skin damage. There's no information on Aprosaurus nakaii egg form, so they could have ridge-shaped egg just like ovicorrugatus. This is more of an assumption, but I really like number two, so that's okay. Relatively close habitat. A nakaii was found near New Caledonia, while A. ovicorrugatus was Western Australia. Habitat is different, but maybe A. nakaii has wider distribution than we previously thought. That's a really good guess. And also, because they're deep water species, it is also interesting to consider that they, deep water environments are more stable than shallow water environments. They're a little bit less diverse than shallow water environments. So it could be that it might have a larger range. That's a plausible hypothesis. We'd gladly talk about that conspiracy together. It's really hard to explain it in one comment. Love your vids, so thank you. So love comments like this. Any comments like this, I really think are really cool. So thank you for leaving that comment. And this was from the Pondicherry Shark stream. So this is probably a year ago. Hey Bruce, welcome back. Howard, I just saw this. Well, we got that out of the way early. And then Bibia Dimus, Iceland Catshark is okay too. They're all good. Glance over the playlist. Gotcha. So, but yeah. So thank you, Headful of Water, for this comment about these two cat sharks potentially being the same species. It's a cool hypothesis, and I think there's a couple. If the measurements are exactly the same. Like if you're talking about like the intradorsal measurements, like the meristic measurements, if they are exactly the same, then that actually I think carries some punch to it. So that's really cool. So thank you for your comment. So we'll dive in to the yellow-spotted catshark. I don't know if you were here for the beginning, Bruce, but just to show you tonight's species, we don't have any footage, but we do have some beautiful photographs. So this is the yellow-spotted catshark, Scyliorhinus capensis, so from South Africa. So this is our shark we're talking about tonight. And we're going to go ahead and dive into the research. So I'm really excited. This is a nearly threatened species, and because of climate change, it's actually retreating into deeper water. It seems that its shallow water habitat is not really suiting it based on water temperature, and that's part of why it's in a weird way near threatened and not as bad as other shark species status wise, because it might be escaping fishing pressure by retreating to deeper water in reaction to rising water temperatures. Pretty interesting dynamic with that. So we'll kind of hop around different articles. So this is spatial and ontogenetic variability in the diet and trophic ecology of two co-occurring cat sharks. So I think it sounds really cool, so I'll just read the abstract. This is by G.M. van der Heever, C.D. van der Lingen, and R.W. Leslie and M.J. Gibbons. The Isaac catshark, Holohalelurus regani, and the yellow-spotted catshark, Scyliorhinus capensis, both occur over the continental shelf around South Africa and are often caught together as bycatch in demersal trawls. Yet our understanding of their diet is fragmented, which makes determination of their place in ecosystem models difficult. Using material collected along the coastline and at a variety of depths, we analyze the diet and assess the trophic ecology of different size classes of each species using analysis of stomach contents and stable isotopes. The most important prey items consumed by both species were crustaceans, cephalopods, and teleosts. Higher trophic level prey were more important for Holohalelurus regani than for Scyliorhinus capensis, and these prey were also more common in the diet of each species on the west coast than on the south coast. Difference in the prey species consumed, compared by coast, size class, and depth, were also detected, with the Catshark species feeding on the presumed most abundant prey of each coast. So that's kind of cool as far as that's a fun example that sharks are broadly very opportunistic. A lot of them are generalists, so they will kind of eat anything. When you get into specialized feeding, that's when you're talking about sharks like the bullhead sharks, so like the horn shark or the Port Jackson shark, which has modified teeth for crushing shellfish, or the basket shark, which has the gill rakers for plankton, or I guess the smooth hounds, because they also have like crushing teeth. Like those are more specialized feeders. But then when you get to a lot of other sharks, including cat sharks and dogfish, their teeth are good for, kind of just about anything. So it's kind of funny to see that in this article, they're saying the proportion of prey might be related to just the abundance of prey. So it's not really like the shark is selecting for a particular prey item per se. It could be that on the west coast happens to be more crabs on the west coast than on the east coast, and so that's why there's more crabs in a shark's stomach. Just because there's more crabs there, it's not that the shark is necessarily looking for the crabs. It's just that it eats anything, and that's the most of the anything, if that makes sense. So, individual cat sharks consume larger, higher trophic prey items with increasing size and depth. Makes sense. Dietary differences were also reflected in stable isotopes. Generally, higher delta nitrogen values were noted from samples on the west coast than on the south coast. A significant intraspecific difference in delta nitrogen values was detected. Delta nitrogen values increased with increasing size in both species. So I forget specifically what delta nitrogen measures, because it is something to do with ecosystem modeling and habitat modeling, where there's certain like isotopes you can measure as far as like you can trace them, how they travel up the food chain. And they can be markers of like how food moves through a system. So that's one. There's something. It's something related to that. But it's been a while since that's undergrad biology, and it's been a while since I've done that. Oh, Bibia, just saw your comment. An episode where the species you covered are grouped in species, genus, family. Just the idea if you can have the time. I would be interested about genus level. I get confused a lot. That's a really good point. And actually, what we could do, that's a really good point, Bibia. And I At the very least, I am wondering if I can make like genus playlists because there are so many like especially for like the rare. I mean, Catsharks count for this. A lot of the Catsharks are rare or newly discovered, so it's like it is extremely confusing to kind of differentiate them. So, um, but uh, but but I think I could make a playlist at least. As far as an episode, on the one hand, I think it's a good idea, and I think it would be really cool. On the other hand, there's a part of me that's like, it would be really interesting to, um, you know, actually like do each species and devote a single episode to each species. So, I don't know. I have to give it some thought because, I kind of like, I mean, there's a part of me that is kind of like this like mentality of like, well, the Happy Eddy shark. That's a real shark, by the way. The Happy Eddy. The Happy Eddy is just as valid of a species as the great white. So, the Happy Eddy deserves an episode, and the great white deserves an episode. Even though the Happy Eddy we don't know as much about it. So there's a part of me that's like, I want to treat each species equally and to give each species their own episode, just on principle, even if it's a rare one. But it does get very confusing, especially with very large genuses like Scyliorhinus and Apostoris, Squalus even. So I'll consider it. I have to think about that as far as like the best way to do that. But we might do a genus episode. I will say, theoretically, maybe in the far future, if if I have kids and like, it might be difficult to do each species. That might be a time to do a genus episode. That might be actually a possibility. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But it's a good idea because again, a lot of the very speciose genuses of comprised of rare species, they do get kind of confusing. So, but I'd be open. I'd be open to that. So I will get back on that. So let's see if I missed anything. This present study provides a multidisciplinary framework for better understanding of the diet and trophic ecology of these catshark species. It emphasizes the important structuring role through food web effects that these fish play in benthic communities off South Africa's coast. I want to see if I can get something, and that is a really cool study. That's just the abstract, so I want to see if we can get something that kind of shows, something in more detail. And I think I actually have some field guides too for this shark species, so like this one. Because I would actually really love to see other animals in this area. So this is sharks of Namibia. I'm going to verify that I'm a human. This should be working. Okay, very cool. Sharks, skates, and chimeras of Namibia. It was kind of funny. I don't know. This is really dumb. I don't know why they always say sharks, skates, and rays, and chimeras. It's really odd that they split skates and rays because taxonomically, skates and rays are the same. Like they're in the same umbrella. They share an umbrella. So the umbrella would be sharks, rays, and chimeras. Like that's more accurate taxonomically. So I don't know why it's kind of like an old kind of funny nuance. I don't know really why they separate the skates and rays. The skates and rays are different, but they're not that different. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. I think it's kind of like an old colloquialism that just hasn't disappeared. So. But this is a really cool guide. We've seen it before on one of the older streams, but I think it's a great opportunity to kind of learn more about this environment. So I'm going to just kind of skim through if we can, learn more about where this shark lives, the Yellowspotted Catshark lives, and then kind of see who else is in this range. So The Benguela current ecosystem, which runs along the west coast of South Africa, the entire Namibian coastline, and into southern Angola, is one of the world's most productive marine ecosystems and supports a huge array of marine life, including seabirds, cetaceans, whales and dolphins, Cape fur seals, and chondrichthyans, sharks, skates, rays, and chimeras. However, almost no research has focused on chondrichthyans in Namibia to date, meaning we know remarkably little about which species are found in Namibian waters, where their key habitats are, and the roles they play in food webs and the threats they face. So his first publication focusing on Namibia. Intended for wide readership. I kind of want to learn more about Namibia specifically. So this is kind of more about sharks, skates, and rays and why they're important. Here we go. This is interesting. The proportion in Namibia's 88 chondrichthyan species, which are listed as critically endangered, right here, endangered, vulnerable, near threatened, least concerned, data deficient, on the IUCN Red List. This illustration shows an example species from each category. So Namibia actually has quite a few least concerned species. Like basically half of the sharks in Namibia are actually doing okay, which is really cool. The black dogfish is the example, Centroscelium fabricii. We have black dogfish off our coast as well. Near threatened includes the biscuit skate. That's a very cute name. Love that name for that animal. Vulnerable is a broad-nosed seven-gill shark, Notoricus sepedianus. Endangered is the basking shark, Scyliorhinus maximus. Squatina aculeata, who we met last week, the sawback angel shark that's critically endangered. And then finally, the West African cat shark, Scyliorhinus curvigoni, is data deficient. So. Let's see, there's been almost no research focusing on chondrichthyans in Namibian waters, meaning that there has, until now, never been a comprehensive species checklist for the country. A species list was compiled. We don't need to read that out loud. Okay, this is the guide. Usually these guides have a description of the actual habitat, so I hope they do have that. Nice little diagram of a shark features. So snout, nostril, eye, mouth, labial furrows, gill openings, pectoral fin, first dorsal fin, second dorsal fin, pelvic fin, anal fin, caudal keel, precaudal pit, and caudal fin. So. It's kind of funny, in a way that I used to get confused, and this is when I was like a lot younger, like probably my teenage years, between pectoral fin and pelvic fin, and then I kind of had a little trick where pectoral is literally like your pectorals, like your pecs, right? Like working out and stuff. Pelvic fin is like your pelvis, and it kind of refers to like just the orientation of the shark's body. Like if you lay down, you're oriented roughly with the shark's, like internal anatomy. So it's like if you were like laying down horizontally, your head was up here, your feet were down here. It would line up with your pecs will be with the pectoral fins, your pelvis would be with the pelvic fins. So it's kind of a little trick. I used to remember which fins were which, But here we go, species identification guide. Really cool, unique illustrations. It's fun to see these. Very, very beautiful. So a couple of these are familiar faces. So this is the South African frilled shark, or southern frilled shark, the sharp-nosed seven-gill. We'll kind of move ahead to the cat shark because I want to make sure I have time for other species and also comments. So we'll jump ahead to the Scyliorhinids just to see. And here we are. The yellow-spotted catshark, Scyliorhinus capensis. So this is tonight's species. It's really cool. This guide includes the, I think this is Afrikaans, Geelspikkel-kathaai is the local name for this species. So we'll zoom in one more time. Just want to make sure we've got a good look. So. Let's see. Looking forward to a future episode from 6 hours of the future due to time difference. Yeah. Um, Rays and skates like Ramphorhynchus and Pterodactylus or H. sapiens and H. neanderthals on top of Collar Ridge are cool, which likely helps with propulsion, I guess. Gotcha. So Yellow-spotted catshark, really beautiful illustration. It's interesting to see that this one is more gray, and you do have like the yellow pattern here. It's not as vibrant as the photograph that we're seeing. And actually, because like the photograph is capturing kind of like more of like a kind of like a rusty gray, almost orangish kind of animal. But let's see. Fairly large, slender catshark, head slender, but no deep interior nasal flap. Small, but deep. Head slender but deep. Interior nasal flaps small and do not reach the mouth. No nasal grooves. Light brown or gray with 8 to 9 irregular dark brown saddles. Numerous bright yellow spots on dorsal surface, pelvic and pectoral fins. Found only in Namibian and South African waters. Really cool illustration of the A case, and we can compare different catsharks here. A cases removed from preserved specimens are uniform pale green to dark green. Tendrils tend to catch onto each other, those of other A cases, and the substrate. So that's actually really cool. The tendrils are long, and if they catch other A cases, it might be a way to kind of keep juveniles together. So pretty interesting. They don't have any behavioral notes, unfortunately. But it is really cool to compare catshark species from the same habitat or same region. So this is an Isaac catshark, Holohalioris regani. So this is the catshark that was in that study where they compared this species and their dietary preferences in the same region. And they observed that this species tend to go after slightly larger prey items than this species, but overall they're both generalists. So beautiful color pattern on the Isaac, the Isaac catshark. Make sure I'm not missing. We got the African sawtail catshark. There's quite a few catsharks in this region. Like other sawtail catsharks, we know that they have this really cool raised ridge of dermal denticles on the back of the tail. So it actually creates like a saw, or it's rather how it gets its name. It kind of like it's so exaggerated that it has like kind of like this rough texture, and it's visible, so it looks really jagged. So it kind of looks like a saw. So it's actually really cool that that's how it gets its name. Here's the dark shy shark. We know how shy sharks get their name. We talked about at the top of this stream, but Haplobephalus pictus. These sharks will cover their faces with their tails. So if they feel threatened, they will take their tails and cover their eyes and make a little cute donut shape. So, I really like the Afrikaans name, the Donker Skaamug. The Donker Skaamug. It's very cute. Some more catsharks. These are some deep water catsharks. So the small-eyed catshark, Aprosteris microps, very unique egg case right here. Another deep water species. This one is Aprosteris saldanha, the saldanha catshark. Another one, the fleshy-nosed catshark, Aprosteris melanoasper. This one's quite famous as far as demon catsharks go. This is actually one of the probably more like typical species that's featured in Aprosteris studies, so really cool to see. Again, very unique egg case here. So we got 3 deep water catsharks. We've got the shy shark, the sawtail catshark, the Isaac, the yellow-spotted catshark. Is there any more from this region? There is. Okay. The West African catshark, Scyliorhinus curvigoni. Right here, very pretty. This is a little different. This is the false catshark, Pseudotriachus microdon. I believe this is an entirely different family, so this is not like the classic catsharks. These are something different. And you can actually even see that in the body shape. The first dorsal fin is very different looking, very elongate. comparatively small pectoral fins, and then a very large second dorsal fin. So yeah. Is the Isaac Catshark bigger, perhaps? Yes. I think it is Bibia. So it reaches they're similarly sized, but I think the Isaac Catshark reaches a slightly larger size. So yeah. Yes. So yeah, the yellow really stands out, and again, yellow's a really rare. Oh, cool. Schaammoog is Old Dutch for shy eye. Interesting. Interesting. Yellow is a really rare color for sharks, so it's really cool to see that like on this species. Which website is this? This is actually a publication, but I will share the link. And then if not, it's Namibia ID Guide of Sharks, Skates, Rays, and Chimeras. Okay. I think we'll move on in a little bit. Just want to kind of shout out cool sharks that live in this region. I won't spend too much time here, but let's see. There we go. So we'll kind of do two at a time because I don't want to spend too much time here. Because I want to make sure we have plenty of time to look at more research. But we've got frilled shark, it's 7-gill shark, so classic deep water set. 6-gill shark and 7-gill shark as well, blunt nose and broad nose. This one is actually a fairly dangerous species, or I should say hazardous species, that they look gentle and divers kind of let their guard down around them, but they can actually deliver a really nasty bite. So, and they get pretty big. The blunt nose 6-gill shark, which we've seen many times as like the titan of the deep, very very freaky animal, really beautiful. So Namibia has actually got a really exciting deep water set of sharks here. Some really large animals. We got the bramble shark, which is its unique, entirely unique order, Echinorhinoformes. And we've got the dogfish, a pike dogfish, also known as a spiny dogfish, the classic. Love this shark. This is actually where I am in the Chesapeake Bay. This is their last month, and I think they'll be moving north. They might be actually migrating out of the bay right now because the water is starting to get warmer, so they want to go up to New England at this time of year. So I love these sharks. They're my wintertime buddy, and it's sad to see them go, but we have a lot of summertime sharks coming in. We have sandbar sharks coming in and actually having their pups right now, which is really exciting because the Chesapeake Bay is a big nursery area for them. And then next month, we're going to get bull sharks, hammerheads. We're going to get quite a few classic warm water species, like more tropical species. So I'm very excited. Like where I live, it's a very dynamic ecosystem shark-wise, and biodiversity peaks in the warm season. So we have it used to be just 10, but we're getting black-tip sharks and spinners in the bay, which is a new development. When I was an undergrad, we didn't have records of those in the bay, and now they're actually coming in more frequently. So we have 12 species in the bay in the summer. We go back down to 2 different species in the winter, but now is we're getting to peak shark season, so I'm very excited about that. We've got the blunt-nosed spiny dogfish. This is a new species. Whoa, wait, okay, sorry. Squalus acutipinus. Sorry, I thought this was the scientific name. Stompneus penhaai. Sorry. Stompneus penhaai, right. So that's the Afrikaans name. Really funny. So Squalus acutipinus is the English name. Squalus bassii is the long-nosed African spiny dogfish. Another one that I'm not as familiar with. So, yeah. Actually, shame is more exact translation, but I took the liberty to transliterate. Gotcha. For Schaammoog, the old, which actually is really kind of cool. That The literal translation is shame for the shy shark. That is really interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Bibig. That's actually extreme. I love like language and linguistic roots. So that's actually really interesting. That shyness is like hiding from the world. Shame is like I can't bear to show my face to the world. It's interesting where they're not the same word, but there's a connection there. That's actually really cool. Gulper shark, Centrophos granulosus, leaf scale gulper shark, Centrophos squamosus, beautiful, very very rare species. Little gulper sharks. There's actually 3 gulper sharks here. Wow. So really cool group of sharks. These are unique cousins to dogfish. We've got the bird beak dogfish, Diania calceus. The arrowhead dogfish and long-nosed dogfish, more Diania. This one's really cool, actually. Diania quadrispinosa. Very exaggerated features. It's incredible that these are all living sharks, and like it's incredible to see how diverse they are. They just look so different. They occupy such different worlds. It's just really interesting. Got the black dogfish. This is also an animal. A lot of these actually do live on my coast, and it's kind of fun to see the overlap. Like Centroscyllium fabricii, the black dogfish, does live off my coast, and it's cool that in the western Atlantic where I am, we're an ocean away from the eastern Atlantic where Namibia is, and actually we're a hemisphere away too, yet you still have overlap between species. So like the six-gill sharks, this black dogfish, the pike dogfish, these are all sharks that I have. So it's really cool to see that no matter, even though it's such a large distance, there's actually some similarities. Blurred smooth lantern shark, Matras bigelowii. More lantern sharks, southern and brown lantern sharks. Really cool group of animals. Smooth lantern shark and the sculpted lantern shark, really interesting. Amopterus sculptus. That one's a little bit more, you can kind of see how it gets its name. It has kind of more of like a chiseled look to it. Very exaggerated. This almost looks like that might be the lateral line on the side. So, the Portuguese dogfish. This is another one that I have. Centroschimus pseudolepis. Ruskin dogfish is not familiar to me. The long-nosed velvet dogfish. Centrosoacus crepidator. Really cool name. And then the southern sleeper shark, we've done this one, the Somniosus antarcticus. This is a very large cousin of the Greenland shark, so about 6 meters. For comparison, meters to feet, let's see. Oh, 20 feet. That's a giant animal. It's really, really wild. Velvet dogfish, Zamius squamosus, and the angular rough shark, which are like swimming little pyramids, are very cute. So, this is really cool. So Bibia, just like a comment about the seven-gill shark encountering divers. Yes, so you are right that a lot of them are deep water species. So this one, the sharp-nosed seven-gill shark, is deep water, so it's really, really rare. It's not impossible, but it's really, really rare for divers to see it. This one, the blunt-nosed six-gill shark, is deep water. Really, really rare. It's not impossible, but very, very rare for divers to see it. This one, the broad-nosed seven-gill shark, is actually shallow water. The Notorhynchus sepidianus is actually a shark that frequently occupies shallow water habitat. So it is an animal that divers can see on a regular basis. And it's kind of cool. You can kind of see that. Look at the differences between the broad-nosed seven-gill shark and the other two. So the body looks a little bit firmer, and it has like a speckling on it, like this really cool like gray back with like this like speckled pattern, whereas like the blunt-nosed six-gill shark looks, like this might be kind of like, this might sound really strange, I'm saying that it doesn't look as firm, and I might be biased because like, I've seen these animals, like I have not seen them firsthand, but seeing footage of these animals, you can see how just like fluid they look, how kind of like loose they look. But their color is just this one shade of like brown, and it has like these like really small, kind of reflective eyes. The sharp-nosed seven-gill shark has these really big eyes and also like a single shade of gray. But the brown-nosed seven-gill shark has kind of like these mid-size yellow eyes with this like little speckling on the back. So there's a couple like subtleties here where you can kind of see that this is more of a shallow water shark. The speckling kind of reminds me of bonnet heads, which are shallow water as well. And then there's subtleties here for the blunt-nosed six-gill and the sharp-nosed seven-gill that make it look a little bit more deep water. The large eyes, the reflectiveness in the eyes, at least in the blunt-nosed six-gill shark, you can kind of see here. Let me zoom in. Yeah, right there, that reflection. Kind of typically more of like a deep water characteristic. So, but yeah, so sorry, that was a long-winded way of saying that the broad-nosed seven-gill is actually a shallow. It occupies shallow water fairly often, so divers can spend time with it. Actually, on that note, let's see if we can find it. Broad-nosed seven-gill shark. There's one really good clip. Yeah, there we go. Don't give me an ad. I don't want to buy whatever you're selling. Sorry, we'll just kind of let this play. Do you not want to buy whatever is going on? Skip. Okay. There we go. See? So this is a seven-gill shark. See how close it's getting to the diver, by the way? So these sharks are no joke. They do harass divers or get too curious about them. And they look inoffensive. Divers, make the mistake of thinking that they're kind of calm because they look like, they have this like kind of docile looking cow-like shape. They're not really like, they don't have the classic shark look, but you can totally see how like curious they are, how like invasive they are in your space. Like, I shouldn't say invasive because we're invading their world, but what I'm saying is like they're right up in your face, so they have a reputation of doing this. So, and they do have wild teeth. They have like 7 cusplets on their teeth. So this is a little bit of a scary situation actually from a diving perspective. Even though these are not extremely large individuals, the species can get pretty big, and you don't want a large shark constantly bumping you and constantly curious about what you're doing. So yeah, the broad-nosed seven-gill shark is something that is like you don't want to underestimate. It's not infamous like bull sharks or white sharks, but it is something that you got to be very careful around as you're spending time with this species. So, but yeah, all this to say, it does live in shallow water. So, and it is something that it is a species that you can spend time with in shallow water too. So. Ooh, yeah, this interaction is actually pretty charged. Oh my gosh, look at that. He just went for the camera. Wow. Yeah, these are very, very inquisitive sharks. I would say even almost aggressive. Like that's really interesting. Wow. So great footage. All right. So yeah, be careful diving with this. So we'll go back to, I had a few more sharks here. We're on the southern sleeper, the angular rough shark. Here we go. The cookie cutter shark, classic nightmare of, I told a friend about how cookie cutters actually have bitten people in Hawaii who swim in deep water, and they were horrified at that fact. But yeah. And, like, of course, I love the cookie cutter sharks. They're not a nightmare to me. But, yeah, very nasty bite. Just you don't even want to think about it. So, the six-gill saw shark, Warren's six-gill saw shark, it's really cool to see that Namibia has saw sharks. So, very, very cool to see. Oh, yes, baby, it makes sense to be spotted and flatter if you were in shallow water and deep water. It could be better with dark colors and more muscular round shape. Oh, thank you, baby. I appreciate that. Howard, yes, 100%. Time to get out of the water. Yes, that situation. I would not want to be that in that situation as a diver, because diving, it's kind of like driving, where it's something where you can do safely, but there are variables that you do not want to underestimate. So if you're driving, a car or any kind of motor vehicle, you're going at a very high speed, and if you screw up, if you do something wrong, you can have an accident, and that actually can turn into a fatality. If you're diving, you are submerging yourself underwater, breathing compressed air, and you could do it safely, but if you do something wrong, you can have a fatality. And so similarly, if you're diving and you've got an animal harassing you and distracting, it's not just that the animal, like the shark, is kind of presenting a threat in itself, like it's an animal that's being aggressive and in your face. It's that it's being aggressive and in your face in an environment that you're not in control of. So that's an especially scary situation. So I just want to echo Howard's point. Time to get out of the water, absolutely, because you cannot afford to have something go wrong in diving. And like if you're in shallow water, a lot of divers do a good job at just kind of managing panic or managing like overcoming that situation. But it's the same thing as, like, say you're driving and you have, I don't know, like a bird flew into your car and it's like just creating havoc. That's a really dangerous situation. You need to get out of that. So just wanted to recognize that, Howard. You're absolutely right. Time to get out of the water. That's not a good situation to be in. So you want to minimize any distractions, interruptions. And also, there's a risk of like things getting tangled, like your gear getting tangled and things. So, And yes, Bibia, really appreciate it. We should not disturb the shark. I really misspoke. I should not have said that the shark was being invasive, because at the end of the day, we are entering their world, so we're being invasive. We're guests to their house, right? So, this is a great point. We've got some angel sharks in Namibia. So we got the sawback angel shark, the one that we covered last week. Great illustration on this, Squatina aculeata. And then the smoothback angel shark, Squatina oculata. It's really terrible how similarly named these species are. But these illustrations are gorgeous, and they do show that the differences very clearly. The sawback angel shark has dark spots. The smoothback angel shark has light spots. So that's actually kind of easy to tell apart. The pectoral fins look a bit different too. Smoothback is more squared off, sawback is more pointed. But really, if I was, in the wild, kind of trying to identify the species, I would look at the color of the spots in this case. Usually color is not a good trait for shark identification, but if it is a reef shark or bottom-dwelling shark that has a color pattern that is somehow related to its environment, it can be helpful. And I think for the angel sharks, it definitely works. So, very cool to see these two species. Sand tiger shark. Oh, this is awesome. We got the sand tiger shark and the crocodile shark in Namibia. It's super cool. To date, by the way, the crocodile shark is the most popular shark on this channel as far as the streams go. I like to see like the most popular videos, and as far as like which shark species is getting the most attention. And I think the algorithm is favoring the crocodile shark, but it's the number one. And I'm really happy because I don't think a lot of people realize that crocodile sharks exist. That they're this like really cool open water cousin of like white sharks. They're just these really cool, smaller sized, elongated sharks with a really unique color pattern. So, having like the white cheeks, and then just like living in the open ocean. It's just kind of like a really interesting shark that just doesn't get a lot of attention. So we got the sand tiger shark, which is critically endangered. It's also known as a gray nurse shark or ragged-tooth shark. So it's cool to see that this is an animal that patrols the Namibian shores. This shark probably eats the cat shark. These sharks do eat smaller sharks in the Chesapeake Bay. I would not be surprised if this shark probably goes after the Yellowspotted Catshark. just because they both occupy shallow water habitat. So got thresher shark and big eye thresher. So the classic thresher and big eye thresher, beautiful sharks that use their tails to just stun fish with like a whip-like motion. We got the basking shark and the great white shark. This must be a little terrifying because from the surface, both sharks kind of have a similar looking shape. They're both mackerel sharks and they're both huge. So a small basking shark can sometimes be mistaken for a large great white shark, but they're very different, of course, in habit. So basking sharks being these beautiful, and they're both beautiful, but these harmless, sunbathing, plankton-eating sharks at the surface. Great whites being the seal annihilating, master predators, like going after like South Africa being like a really big hotspot for both great white shark incidents and then also great white shark predation. This is where Air Jaws was filmed, as far as great white sharks doing the breaching habit of just like launching out of the water, going after seals. So really cool to see that they occupy the same habitat as the Yellowspotted Catshark. Really scary too. But we also got the short fin mako, the classic. This is beautiful coloration on this illustration, by the way. And then we covered the Catsharks, so we'll just kind of like click through since we did cover all of them, including our Yellowspotted Catshark. Taupe shark and smoothhound, so muscleless, like the classic smoothhound shark. So taupes are critically endangered. This is also known as the soup fin shark. So that's that name. Shows you how it's critically endangered. Unfortunately, the species fins were used for shark fin soup quite often. So. Got the white spotted smoothhound and the spotted gully shark. So it's kind of cool to see Namibia has actually a pretty nice smoothhound variety too. So there's a diversity of cat sharks and there's a diversity of smoothhounds in Namibia. The bronze whaler and the bull shark, wild that both of them live in this habitat. So great illustration of bull sharks, by the way. That's actually a beautiful capture of just kind of like their intensity, their size, their presence. Just kind of like there's something about their look that is just like, don't mess with me. Like they're very, very intimidating looking sharks. So the night shark, Carcharodon signatus. This is also another open ocean shark. We have to cover this species someday. I feel like do we cover night sharks? Because they're really cool. They're very unique. They're endangered and they live in open water habitat. These really cool, beautiful big eyes. I feel like we did cover the night shark at some point. I guess we have not. Wow, we have to put that down as a future species someday. Night sharks would be really cool to learn more about. It's a shark I've always wanted to cover, actually too, just because they're so mysterious. We have them actually off Virginia, but they're really, really rare. So I'd love to learn more about them. We've got the blue shark, and finally the smooth hammerhead, Scyliorhinus. It's kind of cool comparing Namibia to like Virginia. Not a lot of Carcharodon here. So we have the bronze whaler, bull shark, and night shark. Whereas in Virginia we have the sandbar shark, the bull shark, the spinner shark, the blacktip shark, the silky shark, the dusky shark. The small tooth shark. The fine tooth shark. The small tail shark. I feel like I'm missing one. We don't have black sharks, but we have I've already counted about seven. We have quite a few Carcharodon in Virginia, and it's kind of interesting to see that in Namibia. There's only three. So I don't know why there's a difference as far as what makes Namibia and Virginia different. In that there's more Carcharodon in Virginia and less in Namibia. I don't know. It's pretty interesting to compare. So anyway, moving on. We have a couple minutes left because I know it's almost 11, but Bibia, yes, toad shark. Sad to hear about such a beautiful species in danger. 100%. Um, oh, cool. I like your translation related to the sand tiger shark. Um, that's actually really cool. So I think what we'll do is I want to see if there's one more study we can get referencing the. Oh, actually, this is it. Here we go. This would be good because usually these actually have good species descriptions. So I think we'll end on sharks, batois, and chimeras in the North Atlantic because this usually has good descriptions on like good species profiles. So let's see what we can get. It's interesting they don't have. I pulled this up because it said it would have Scyliorhinus capensis, but it looks like it doesn't. I think there was another one that I had somewhere. Not that. Oh, this one actually, this study might be interesting. Revision of the Catsharks. Is it this? This might be it. Okay, this actually might work. Just gotta get to the sharks. There we go. Okay, perfect. This is... It's not the same, but this actually is close to what I want. So... Because this will have like a summary. I love these like old shark guides, by the way. They're super helpful. Okay, we got a lot of the species that we saw. So these are the seven-gill sharks, frill shark. They go into the mackerel sharks. Oh, here we go. Galeus. Okay, so Galeus is the salttail shark. Haplobufferus are the shy sharks. Haliornis is the Isaac. Here we go. Scyliorhinus capensis. Okay. Yellow-spotted catshark, known as the Geelspikkel-kathaai. I would love the translation of that, Bibia, if you don't mind. Geelspikkel-kathaai, and I apologize if I say that incorrectly. So, but one size to 1.2 meters, rarely caught in bottom trawls, a demersal species, so bottom dwelling, found between depths of 30 to 420 meters, mostly south of Luderitz. Feeds commonly on small bony fishes, crustaceans, and cephalopods. Okay. Okay, let's see. Sorry about the audio, by the way. I've seen the comments. So it seems like it's been doing worse this stream, so I'm not sure what might be causing it. It could be the age of the computer. This thing has been running. I don't even want to share how old it is, but it's been here forever. So, but yeah, I'm gonna put this in the chat. If there's a translation for this, I would love to hear it. Geelspikkel-kathaai. Also, Canadian question, by the way. This is really random. I've actually been catching up on Canadian films. And I saw Away from Her, which was fantastic. Really sad, but really, really great movie. Yellow-spotted catshark. Thank you. Thank you. That makes sense. Away from Her and... I don't know if you say it Crazy or if you call it Crazy, but that was also fantastic. I feel like there's one more Canadian film I saw. Passchendaele, which I didn't like as much, but... let me know, especially Howard or Bruce, as our good Canadian friends, if you've seen those movies, I'd be very curious because I think those were all Canadian Best Pictures, and I was just really curious to kind of take a gander. Passchendaele is okay. I really liked Crazy, and I really liked Away from Her. Those two were especially really good. So you know. Let's see. Not me. I recommend all three. I think Passchendaele is it's about the Battle of Passchendaele, and I think it kind of follows the neighbors in Calgary. Crazy. I think it's set in Quebec, and it's like just family dynamics in the '70s. It's really good. And then Away from Her, I don't know where that is filmed, but it's a really good movie. So yeah, just definitely recommend. So let's see if there's any before we have. I know we're almost at 11. I just want to see if I have anything other than abstracts for this cat shark. Um, I have this really old. I wonder if I can get anything from this. This is a very old manuscript. Discovery reports. I don't think I could find anything on this. Coastal fishes of the South Atlantic. Da, 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 da. Oh, cool. Okay, so beautiful guide on. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. What happened? Can you see the screen now? What's going on here? There we go. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that, guys. That was really awkward. Beautiful. Let me know if you guys are still connected. Sorry about that. But beautiful old piece of text featuring some gorgeous illustrations. Like this is like old school marine science. So I think our shark is in here. So I do want to pull that up, and then I think we'll wrap up for tonight. So I'm just kind of scanning through. I believe this was submitted to Woods Hole, but this is just like a classic like document scan. So you get to see a couple different interesting animals. This is from the South Atlantic. My screen froze briefly, but it is okay now. South African Boer language is Old Dutch. The spelling is not up to date, and sometimes words are strange. South African Dutch equals 400, 250 years behind our Dutch. I never knew that, actually. That's really interesting. Because I know, like, when I did research for, like, the Bull Shark Compendium or some of my, not so much my other books, really just for the Bull Shark Compendium, I noticed like Afrikaans, as a language being just like so different from the other languages. Like they kind of there was more of a flow to them, and with Afrikaans, it did stand out to me, and I was just kind of curious about the history behind it. So that's actually really cool. I had no idea. Let's see. Man, our shark I think is buried in here, so I don't want to. This is like a 500-page document, so I don't want to like waste everyone's time. So I might have to hop off of this, and I think maybe we'll just end on footage. But I will post this in the chat if people want to peruse this. Nice clean illustration, yeah, because there's a lot of this is really fun stuff. Like I really like the old fisheries texts because there's two things that I really love about them, and then I think we'll end on footage of the other cat sharks. So yes, and Bibia, I completely agree. I love Howard's drawings too, so 100%. But for the old texts, what I really like about them is one, you have these like beautiful, meticulously crafted illustrations that they have to be accurate to get kind of like the precise measurements of these animals. And two, there's kind of more like liberties taken with the descriptions. I feel like modern species descriptions and field guides are very clinical. They're very like, oh, this animal does this and can be found here and whatever. But older guides, they have a little bit more flavor to them. They have a little bit more uh, like panache. Like for example, older guides would describe piked dogfish as these are the bane of fishermen's existence. Like that's the literal language they would use. These are the bane of fishermen's existence because they would get tangled up in the nets. They would bite fishermen who try to unclog them from the nets, and it's like those little flavors. You know, I really really like that. You know, like sometimes they may not be the most scientific thing, but I think they add a lot of character to old science, and I think it's just really special. So I really love these texts, like these old texts. So Bibia, appreciate your comment. As a Dutch person, I'm not really proud of Afrikaans. The culture is so tainted by apartheid. So thank you for explaining that, because I'm really not familiar with just the history of the language. So I really appreciate you clarifying that, so thank you. So, this shark is going to be really hard to find, unfortunately. We got some really amazing fish illustrations where we got this really great blenny. These are really fun reef drawing fish. Or fish that like to be in oyster shells, or so completely different species from the ones that I'm used to, but still really cool to see. Some scorpion fish. So there we go. I can't find our shark, so I think what we'll do is we'll just go back to the footage and wrap up for the night. But still, this is a really cool text. So I put a goosefish. Oh, we talked about a goosefish last week. There we go. That's a great illustration. So these fish occupy a similar kind of niche as angel sharks, being ambush predators. They lie flat on the seabed. It's kind of really cool to see overlap between goosefish and angel sharks, where the eyes are at the top of the head. They have the fleshy tendrils around the mouth, right where you want them to be. So it's really cool. But I posted this in the chat so that everybody on the stream can go through and this beautiful old guide. If they wanted to. It seems like there's a lot of different animals here. This is about 500 pages. The shark is in here, but and that's one thing that's fun is let me share this in the chat too. If you go through Shark References, this website, this is kind of like anything you could possibly want to know about sharks is here. And it's a really, really great resource. And if you type in a species and you look at some of the first entries, you can find things from the 1700s. And thank goodness for the librarians that we have around the world who have scanned these documents and have made them publicly available for people. So you can actually find some really cool stuff. I've seen, I think the oldest shark-related text I've seen is from maybe the 1600s, and I forget what it was about because modern taxonomy wasn't established until mid-1700s, but could you please do the websites in the description? Yes, absolutely. So I could put them in the description of the stream, so we can have that. And then for the chat, shark references.com. Yep. Yeah, so that's like the best repository of information. It's basically an online library of shark research. It's super cool. So we'll go back to, let's do, not the 7 gill attacks. Let's do this cute shark, and we'll slow it down as we say our goodbyes. So, but guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun stream about Catsharks don't get a lot of attention, and they really deserve more, just because they're such a cool, diverse group of sharks. So I really appreciate chatting with you guys tonight and taking a look at the yellow-spotted catshark, but then also taking a look at catsharks as a whole and sharks in Namibia as a whole. It was a lot of fun to check out all the different species, and I love our conversations as always. So thank you guys for being here and for being a part of this community. The chat disappears, so I really appreciate it. Good point, Viva. So I'll put it in the description. thesharkreferences.com. You should still be able to see the chat, because if you go back on the videos, like on the live stream recordings, there is an option below the video screen that says show chat. so it should still record it. But no matter what, I'll just put it in the description. But thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you all being here, and thank you for spending this time together. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will tune in next week in Iceland to meet the Iceland catshark. So one of the most famous demon cat sharks, Apresturus larsoni. So I'm very excited to cover that species. But cheers, guys. Have a great one, and thank you so much for being here tonight. And I will see you next week for the Iceland catshark. Take care. Bye.